Welcome to the show, everybody. Happy to be in studio. Happy to have you watching. I'm TJ Carpenter, and this is the TJ Carpenter Show. Show your support for this show and show the NCAA that they're a bunch of fucking assholes. By going to mybookie.lv and wagering on every single March Madness game that you can. And if you want good advice on who you should or shouldn't pick in the March Madness bracket, you probably already filled out your bracket. The games haven't even, the first game hasn't ended yet. I don't count the first four. If you count the first four in March Madness, what's wrong with you? That is the one thing that the NCAA has tried to just squeeze every last drop of money they possibly can out of this tournament. They're adding games, they're adding sponsorship, they're saying don't gamble on it, don't gamble on it. If you're going to fill out a bracket, come fill out one of our sponsor-riddled brackets that's on our official NCAA website. But at any rate, we will talk a little bit about the tournament as it's going on right now, and that's all anybody really is watching or doing right now. But of course, Robert Quinn, did he or didn't he visit the New Orleans Saints yesterday? He was at FIU yesterday, so the question is, well, if he was in Florida, how could he possibly be in New Orleans visiting with the Saints? So I understand where the logic there comes in, but we'll talk a little bit about Robert Quinn and whether or not there's a likely chance that he could be traded for a fourth-round pick to the Cowboys as the Dolphins are attempting to unload his salary, and how would that impact any sort of restructure, if there is in fact a restructure coming for his contract with the Cowboys. So we'll talk about that. Also, Eric Berry. Who would you rather add, Robert Quinn or Eric Berry, to the Cowboys roster? Especially given the news about Tyrone Crawford. I don't know if you want to get into the Tyrone Crawford stuff or not, but we can certainly discuss Tyrone Crawford and whether or not he is in any actual trouble because he wasn't arrested, but TMZ has now released video footage of him shoving two police officers and really just sort of being bullish, quite literally bullish, in an altercation outside of a nightclub. So we're going to talk about that as well. And of course, whatever else you guys want to talk about. Let's see who is already in. Cody's in. Adrian is in. Chris is in. Henry Munoz is new. Henry, top fan. What's up, Henry? Chris Bennett's in the house. Crystal, what up? Joe, hey TJ, did you lock Ari in the closet today? No, Ari is just, he's dealing with some stuff down in Dallas and Austin right now. So him and our Lord and Savior, Zach Rosenberg, they are both down there doing business stuff today. So unfortunately, Ari couldn't make it on the air, but a lot of really cool stuff happening behind the scenes at Phantom right now that we're all really excited about. Chris says, hey TJ, the madness is upon us. Well, that's for sure. Here's the thing. I think that the NCAA is so brazen when it comes to their hypocrisy. It's almost a joke. I mean, it really seriously is almost a joke that the NCAA does this. It's crazy to me that they can get away with saying, don't gamble on the NCAA tournament, but fill out these brackets. Here's all these tips for how to have a successful bracket, how to win your pool. Like literally on the NCAA website, they have a section where they're like, 7 tips on how to win your bracket pool. Do they not realize that? And then right next to it, it's like, don't gamble on this. And here's the thing. They don't care about gambling. They like this idea that there's some sort of moral objection to gambling on college athletics that they have is ridiculous because they accept casino sponsorships all the time. I posted as much on Twitter earlier today. Chris says, how about that Arkansas baseball team? They did lose yesterday to the Longhorns, which isn't normal for them. They don't usually lose to the Longhorns. In fact, I think that they beat them 10-0 and then lost, I think, 7-6 or something like that after getting a 5-0 lead. Whatever. Go and enjoy your hook'em horns. Crystal, there you are with the hook'em horns. Yeah, I see it. Well, just know that you can have this one game, but at the end of, when it's all said and done, Arkansas is going to be in the College World Series and Texas probably isn't. Cody, Quinn, obviously Barry isn't 100% and might never be. CR says, I want both players on year deals at 15 mil for both. Michael says, thought he got sick from that weird named sandwich he was eating. LOL. Yeah, well, he may have. He may have gotten sick. Michael, there it is with the hook'em horns. I see you. I see you. Wayne Gibson saying, okay, so let's get into this. Michael says, TJ, did your wife enjoy us dogging you about your beard? She did. She still says that, my beard is fine. I did get it trimmed, and I got a haircut. I got a haircut yesterday, and I got my beard trimmed. It's all even now. It's significantly shorter. It's not quite as it was earlier. I was getting pretty close to like Ryan Fitzpatrick level beard earlier, and now it's I don't have the Ryan Fitzpatrick beard going on. It's very kempt right now, but that'll change here in a week. The rate at which my beard hair grows is insane. Probably because I'm so manly and I'm filled with testosterone. I don't know why my beard grows as fast as it does. Let's see here. More hook'em horns. Okay. All right. Thanks, Adrian. Daniel. Hey, what up, TJ? Chris, both Texas and Arkansas were in the College World Series last year. Right. I said this year. Right. Arkansas was actually in the championship series. They lost to Oregon State, but they were in it. Rick says, grow it out. Wayne says, not even close. Yeah, it's not close right now because I shaved it, but it can get there. If I just let it go, I mean, it would be all over the place. It would be crazy. But yes, I do realize, I think I sleep on this side of my face, so that's why this hair lays down and this hair just sticks straight out. I got to start sleeping on this side of my face. Daniel says, Randall Cobb is with Dallas. Everybody in Dallas seems to love this move. I get it. You love adding a slot receiver. I don't know. What is it about Randall Cobb that really excites you? I guess it's just the newness. That Randall Cobb is fresh and new, and so, despite the injury issues that he had last season, you're excited about him replacing Cole Beasley, who's really never hurt. So, I guess it's just, Sean says, I'm mesmerized by TJ being symmetrical. Thanks, Sean. Crystal, do it. Beards are in. Daniel, I shaved my beard, and then people got mad that I shaved my beard, so I had to grow it back. Daniel, what kind of mousse do you use, TJ? Paul Mitchell? I think it's Paul Mitchell. It's it's in one of those little canister things. I don't know what it is. Let's see. Cody says, I like Cobb, but the dude is hurt every year. And that's kind of the issue with Randall Cobb, is that he's got a history of injuries. I don't know if he makes the offense better. He makes the offense the same. I think that Randall Cobb can be an effective member of the offense. He can contribute. I mean, we've got 9 seasons of Randall Cobb to base that statement off of, right? Randall Cobb has been a good wide receiver for a very long time. So I expect him to be reliable when healthy. I expect him to be a solid target. He's not going to drop passes. He's going to be a good outlet for your quarterback. I think all of those things are good. I am, generally speaking, a Randall Cobb fan. I like Randall Cobb. My question here is, does he make the offense better? And I have a hard time really saying that he's going to make the offense better, because I don't think the offense's problems are personnel related. I thought that their personnel was good last season. I think their personnel is going to be good this season. The problem is that you have an offense that is ranked 23rd in the NFL, and you're going to be running the exact same system that got to 23rd in the NFL in points per game, and they're going to be 23rd in the NFL in points per game this coming season, which makes Tyrone Crawford's potential suspension a problem. It makes DeMarcus Lawrence not playing on a franchise tag and not having surgery in time for the beginning of the season a problem. It makes David Irving retiring because of marijuana a problem. That's where the issues are. The issues right now are the fact that, okay, your offense isn't going to be better. It's going to be either the same or worse. I don't really see it being better. I can see your defense being worse unless you actually get everybody to play, and that's right now not happening. which is why we talk so much about Robert Quinn. I think that the Robert Quinn, acquisition or not, right now is the most influential potential move of the offseason. I think that their whole offseason rests on whether or not they sign Robert Quinn and or Eric Berry or not. Because if they do those things, I'm like, okay, all right, well, you've taken care of some of the issues on that side of the football that you're having right now in terms of negotiations or not having players play or having some sort of absence of players. All those things need to be addressed. But the offense being better is like, that is an unsolvable problem. And I think that that's unfortunately the reality that so many frustrated Cowboys fans are coming to the conclusion or coming to the realization of. That it's like, oh, wait, the offense is going to be the same next year. I don't really know what to do with that, right? You don't know how to feel about the offense being the same unless you really, really like the fact that they were 23rd in the NFL in scoring. And if you did like that, I'd like to talk to you. And I'm not saying they have to score a ton of points. If you've got a great defense, you don't have to score a ton of points, and you can still be a good football team. But I haven't seen their defense get appreciably better. I've seen their defense lose out on an elite-level pass rusher who's refusing to play on the franchise tag. I've seen them have another defensive lineman retire because you won't let him smoke marijuana. And then I've seen them do nothing in terms of acquisitions in free agency to fill up some of their holes on defense. So I don't really know, other than just simply saying, like, I expect Leighton Vander Esch to be a better linebacker than he was a season ago. I expect Jalen Smith to continue on his path of improvement, next season. Other than those kinds of statements of that we don't really have any reason. Like Leighton Vander Esch improving from his rookie season. Usually there's a big leap up from rookie season to second year in the league. There's also a potential for a sophomore slump. So just go out there and saying, like, as a blanket statement, the defense will be better next season. I don't know if we can say that. And I don't really know if we can say that the offense is going to be any better based off of what they've done, because they haven't done much. And so that's where all these frustrations, I think, are coming from. Let's see. Chase says, I commented on this yesterday. He doesn't add anything. He could possibly fill the void left by Beasley. It's a gamble. If he stays healthy, he could produce on B's level. If he gets hurt, it's a total loss because Tavon sure isn't going to produce anything. Tavon Austin's also going to be on the team. We know that. Let me pull up this list. I showed this list to people yesterday, but I figure we can go ahead and show it again. There it is. So there is the projected Week 1 starters for the Cowboys. And as you can see on the list, Dak Prescott makes sense. Ezekiel Elliott, yes. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. There's Randall Cobb in the slot. That makes sense. Jason Witten doesn't make sense to me as a starter. I don't think he's going to be a starter. I think that's going to be Blake Jarwin, who's going to be the starter at tight end. Jason Witten is going to be there in name. He's going to be there in terms of a mentorship presence. I don't think that if you're expecting Jason Witten to be a producer for you next year, like, okay, fine. If you want to say, based off of legacy and respecting Jason Witten, that they're going to name him the starter, okay. But I'm not even sure that there's a guarantee he's going to make it through training camp. And if he does make it through training camp, there's no guarantee that he's going to make it to the active game day roster every week. Otherwise, they would not have put the incentives in his contract for making the 53 and making the game day roster. There's so many incentives in his contract that say if you're on the team, we'll pay you. But if you're not on the team, especially not on game day, we're not going to pay you. And the only reason they put those incentives in there if there's some expectation that he won't actually be on the active game day roster. So I think saying Jason Witten as a starter at tight end, probably not. The rest of it, offensive lineman, who knows? But I'd say like that's a good group of personnel. That's a good group. Okay, good group. What are you going to do with it? Well, what we know is that Kellen Moore did nothing with it as the quarterback's coach last season. Jason Garrett didn't do anything with it as the head coach last season. And so what are they going to do this season? It's not like Kellen Moore is going to come in and then just rewrite the playbook. He doesn't have the authority to do that. Daniel says, why should Crawford get punished when there were several NFL players that never got suspended for similar issues? Daniel, I'm not saying that he should be suspended. In fact, what I said yesterday was that it's a really good sign for Tyrone Crawford that he didn't get arrested. Because usually, if you didn't get arrested and you were involved in a brawl, usually that's a good sign. That's a good sign. And I think even after watching the video that we saw yesterday of Tyrone Crawford basically just barreling through all these people fighting outside of a nightclub, even after that, it's like, you watch that, you can't hear anything. You don't know if the conversations were going on right there. You didn't know what, we're still missing information. I don't think that video tells you definitively that Tyrone Crawford was in the wrong. Now, it definitely calls into question whether or not he was in the right. I think that's true. So we're going to have an investigation. I don't know what the NFL is going to do. They're probably going to get it wrong. I mean, whatever their decision is, it's probably going to be the wrong decision. And I just base that off of the fact that the NFL never really seems to get these issues right. Marcus, got a feeling this Quinn thing is like the Earl Thomas thing. Dolphins want too much, and by the time they come down on demand, it's too late. That might be right, Marcus. That might be right. I don't know if that's what's going to happen with Robert Quinn. I think he would help, certainly, given your issues with some of the other defensive linemen that you have or don't have. But, it's not good. Like, you need Robert Quinn. And I think that right now the Dolphins know that. And so the Dolphins are going to ask for more in return. The reports saying that he might get traded for a 4th-round pick just don't seem realistic to me. Joe, so which position would we pick with our 58th pick? Man, well, at this point, I would say defensive line. Because I don't know who's going to be on the defensive line at this point. Taco? You're going to put Taco out there? Here's the other frustrating thing, too, is I know Cowboys fans want to see their team improve, but you also have to understand that there's 2 partners in a trade, that there's 2 partners in any negotiation. And so if you don't give up anything, you're not going to get anything in return. And so do you know who doesn't think they're worth a 4th-round pick? Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn, I'm guessing, is saying, I'm definitely worth more than a 4th-round pick. And I'm guessing the Dolphins are saying that right now, too. I'm guessing any player or any team would look at Robert Quinn and say, yeah, he's worth more than the 4th-round pick. And some people would say, well, no, I mean, you can get anybody in a 4th-round pick. Like, the idea that draft picks matter more than players who you know are good is ridiculous. It's stupid. You know who doesn't operate that way? The Patriots. The Patriots don't operate that way. But then again, they're one of those teams who stockpiles so many draft picks that they really never have a need to trade for draft picks. So they're never going to be one of those teams that does that. I mean, they'll get draft picks here and there in the other place when they finally decide, but they're never fence sitters on a player's value. They either believe you're valuable or they don't. And then they take advantage of whatever the market gives them for that. But they're never fence sitters. And I feel like more than any other team, the Cowboys can oftentimes very much be fence sitters. It's like, I don't know. I want to get the most value out of it. I want to try to keep game in the system. Cody says, Taco fucking sucks. All right. Thanks, Cody, for that input. Daniel says, TJ, you need a shirt with the Cowboy star in the front. Well, see, I'm sure Jerry likes this. I mean, this is Cowboys affiliated gear right here. Let's just be honest about that. There's nothing better for your chances of becoming a Dallas Cowboy than being a football player at the University of Arkansas. Rick says, I'm never more nervous than excited, to be honest. Neil, we're left with an unsigned Tank and a soft Taco. I know, it's right. The defensive line right now is not in good shape. And it was the strength of your defense last year. That's why I think everybody's kind of freaking out. That's why I think this Robert Quinn situation is so important for the Cowboys. Because if you don't get this right, you have no idea what's going to happen with the defensive line. And if the defense isn't good, your offense is trash. I mean, that's the thing. If the defense for the Cowboys isn't good this coming season, you're going to have a losing record. Because that offense is not producing points at the rate at which it needs to produce points to be considered a good offense. That offense cannot, as currently constructed, carry this team. Now, if they had a different offensive philosophy, they probably could. But They don't have a different offensive philosophy. They have the one that they have. So their defense has to be good. And right now, their defense does not look like it's as good as it was a season ago. Chris says, Witten will be a player coach. Rick, Witten in third down conversions, maybe. Warren, we can give Dak 5 seconds to get the ball down the field. We will be in good shape. Yeah, 5 seconds. 5 seconds? If you need 5 seconds to make a play in the NFL, you know what you're called? You're called a third-string quarterback. Anthony, Witten will be an extra blocker on run plays and maybe a couple of pass plays. Michael, if Romo had this offense, we would be Super Bowl bound. Sean, Ty looking like Popeye after eating his spinach. Hey, Tyson West Coast in the house. What's up, Tyson? Michelle, watch Witten will prove he's still he's got it still in excited. Chris, Dolphins are tanking for Tua. Got to go DT is what Chase is saying. D tackle, yeah, I think D tackle's probably right. I thought throw numbers at your secondary. Like if they were able to get through this offseason, my philosophy, my plan was shore up your defense. The number one priority this offseason was paying Tank Lawrence. They didn't do that, so he's not going to play. So now they've got to replace an elite level pass rusher with something. But my philosophy was shore up your defensive line, pay Tank, then throw numbers at your secondary in the draft, get a bunch of young, fast, athletic secondary players, and your defense is set. You're close. You're right there to very close to being an elite level defense. If you do that. But they didn't do that. They refused to pay Tank Lawrence. They're probably going to draft offensive players mainly. I think they're probably going to draft a quarterback pretty high, to be honest with you. And then after that, it's I don't really know what they're going to do. At this point, I'm not sure what the Cowboys' strategy is. So it's kind of hard for me to say, well, what are they going to do? I know what they should do, but they've basically not done a single thing I thought they should do all offseason. So if they're not doing anything that I think they should do, it means that I should criticize them. I have to wait to see what they do in the draft. I don't know. This is really more of a learning process for me at this point. I got to figure out what it is they're going to do. And because the way that they're employing the strategy is don't pay anybody, just do nothing. Let's just do nothing. Go replace Cole Beasley. Like it's like a really minor move. I don't see replacing Cole Beasley with Randall Cobb as a major free agency move. I see that as a move, a lateral move, and not even a particularly good lateral move. It's just a lateral move. And I'm being kind of nice to say it's a lateral move because most people around the NFL think that this is a downgrade from Cole Beasley to Randall Cobb because of the injury problems. And then, we've talked about the franchise tag. Franchise tagging DeMarcus Lawrence was a mistake. It was a mistake that they went ahead and made, but it causes way more problems than it solves. You think it's kicking the can down the road, but they didn't get the deal done, which means he's not going to have surgery, which means that probably the way that this is going to work out is that he's going to wait until the very last second to sign his franchise tag. Then they're going to be on the hook for paying him, and then he's also not going to play most of the season. Great job. Good choice there to franchise tag DeMarcus Lawrence, guys. Great job. Wayne says they are projecting Cowboys go for a defensive tackle at 58. Well, at this point, that would be a good move. Chris, Witten's old ass will be better than Rico Gather's sorry ass. Michelle, oh my goodness, don't freaking start with the Patriots, please. The Patriots are amazing. They're really, really good. I don't know how you can get tired of talking about how great the Patriots are, but you have to acknowledge that they're great. Anthony, I really don't think that they gave Rico a chance to develop. Devono, the Pats are the exception to the rule. Neil, they got to get Quinn at least. I think that Quinn's really important. I really do believe that he is a very important component to this whole thing, based largely on the fact that they have no other defensive linemen right now. Wayne, Anthony Galashaw Taco is garbage. He has been given more than enough time to show something. Chris, TJ, go full hippie, long hair, long beard, then in November shave it. I would not look good with long hair, man. I would look ridiculous. I would look so dirty. I would look like the lead singer of a metal band. Who I would look like the lead singer of Gwar if I grew my hair out. It would just be stringy and greasy and nasty. I would look like the bass player in Danzig if I grew my hair out. Cody, Goodell will suspend Crawford somehow. There was no charges filed against Elliott, and the girl was a proven liar, and he still got a harsh suspension without any charges. I'm TJ, and I like gerbils. Nice, nice ad there on the end, Cody. Sean, teams are afraid to make the scary moves the Pats make. Tank would be on another team by now, and they'd have 2 or 3 picks in hand for it ready to reload in the draft. Yeah, man, right. I think that's a really fair point. The Patriots don't care. Like, they traded Richard Seymour like it was nothing. They would trade players like they're nothing. Like, they just don't care. I wouldn't be shocked if they traded Rob Gronkowski this offseason somehow. If they traded him, would you be surprised? I wouldn't. I would not be surprised. Heck, the only thing that would really surprise me is if they somehow agreed to trade Tom Brady. And even then, that sounds very Bill Belichickian. It doesn't sound Robert Kraftian, but it definitely sounds Bill Belichick. In fact, I think Belichick probably would have already traded Tom Brady if he could have. If Robert Kraft, and it would have been a mistake. That would have been a mistake, but I could definitely see them making that kind of aggressive move. Cowboys are not doing anything like that. Are you kidding me? Do you think the Cowboys have enough confidence in themselves and their abilities to recoup talent that they would trade Dak Prescott or Ezekiel Elliott or DeMarcus Lawrence or Amari Cooper? Do you think they'd do that? Do you think... No, never. In a million years would they show that level of humility, that level of understanding, or that level of confidence in their own abilities to recoup talent. They're not that good. The Cowboys are not even close to being that good. In fact, if the Cowboys did that, they would be harshly criticized by the entire league for not knowing what they're doing. Like we used to criticize the Patriots for until we realized, oh wait, the Patriots know more about this than we do. The Patriots are smarter than we are, and we just kind of have to be like, okay, right, well, you understand the landscape better than I do. That's the only thing I know that truly know in sports is that the Patriots know something I don't. I'm pretty sure that I could be a GM for 30 of the 32 NFL teams. It's not that hard of a job. It's just about work ethic. It's just about grinding it out. It's not that difficult to understand the game. If you've been following football for your entire life like I have, it's not that hard to know things about the game. It's not that hard. It's a game. It's a sophisticated game. It's a lot about strategy. It's a lot about picking the right spots to make your moves and things like that. It's like if you put me in charge of the Cleveland Browns, I could easily have done what John Dorsey has done. Absolutely, no question. I could not do what the Patriots could. I will honestly say some of the moves that they have made in their history as an organization under Bill Belichick seem to be the wrong move. They appear to be the incorrect choice, and yet always work out. That's how when I'm like, oh, that's ridiculous, and then it works. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm fucking wrong. That's how that works, and it happens more often with the Patriots than any other team. The Cowboys do not have that level of confidence in themselves. Michael says, I think the number 58 pick is going to be a safety. I mean, they need safeties too, Neil. They would need another defensive end and defensive tackle. Defensive tackle is Collins, Woods, and Covington so far. Chris, Ed Oliver will be long gone before Dallas picks. Warren, so now Dak has a good receivers now. So what happens in the middle of the season if we're 3-5? You fire Jason Garrett. That's what happens, Warren. And then you don't bench Dak, but you're pretty much resigning yourself to the fact that Dak Prescott will not be your quarterback beyond 2019. Neil, says, imagine going into the season with Taco and Armstrong as the starting defensive ends. Ugh. I don't want to imagine that. Imagine a chainsaw massacre. I don't want to imagine that. Michael, Cobb is a better option than Beasley. Maybe. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. Joe, trade D-Law for number 1 pick, get Ed Oliver, and sign Quinn, problem solved. Okay. All right. Let's see how that works. I mean, you're going to have to, that's going to take some time. I think you could probably get that deal done in a week, but you need a partner. You need a high-level first-round pick, and you need that team to agree to restructure and give him a high-level contract and not put him on the franchise tag. Sean, if TJ grew his hair out to a medium length, he'd look like an 80s Kenny Loggins. Or the BG. Who's the main BG? You know the one I'm talking about. You know the main BG. I'd look like the main BG. Chris says Robert Rub and Tug Kraft is going to fight instead of taking a deal. I know, man. It's a crazy move there. Marcus, Patriots knew they would win the garbage division with mediocre talent and that system. Right? The system helps you. And guess what? The Cowboys are in a dog shit division too. Let's not act like I get it. The Eagles still have some talent on their roster, but they've already won their championship. They're basically in burn mode, like the Broncos were after they won their Super Bowl. There is get ready for another 50 years of ineptitude, Philadelphia, because the Eagles are going to suck for a while. I do. I really do think the Eagles are going to suck for a while. The Giants and the Redskins are dog shit. So you have a very easily winnable division, Dallas, and you have the most talent of any team. The problem is that you have Jason Garrett as your coach, and you are sticking with the exact same offensive system that you had a season ago, which sucked. So, and you're not improving your defense. This is the point in here where I'm getting a little frustrated with the Cowboys because they're just refusing to do smart things. Nathaniel, what up, dicks? Chris says, Saturday Night Fever in Denver. Look out. Andy Gibb. Warren just says, Andy Gibb. What are you guys talking about Andy Gibb for? Wayne, where is Ari? Ari's still in Dallas. He's just doing business stuff. Rick says, what up, old man? Nathaniel, LOL. Michael, you can tell by the way TJ walks, he's a woman's man. No time to talk. Hey, I am a one woman's man. That's my wife. And you know what? I'll be totally honest. There are very few things. That's not true. I brag about a lot of stuff. There are very few things I'll just say this because who cares? If I've learned anything from our president, it's like you can fucking lie about anything. It doesn't matter. Okay, so there are very few things that I brag about, but I will brag about who I married. That's right. I won. I won marriage. I won dating. I think that's the better way to put it. My wife's incredibly beautiful. She's incredibly intelligent, and yeah, I am totally fine with saying I am one woman's man, because I don't need any other. I don't need any other women. Wayne, TJ Carpenter for head coach. Warren says, dye your hair red and you will have a Billy Idol. Ooh, should I do that? Oh, and you know what's weird? You said Andy Gibb. Andy Gibb was the main BG. I was thinking in my head about Alex Gibbs, who was a former offensive line coach. That is amazing. That is amazing. I wasn't thinking of Gary Gibb, who was the former head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners. I was thinking of Alex Gibbs, who was the former offensive line coach for the Denver Broncos, who curses like a sailor, by the way. Not Andy Gibb, who was the original, he was the main BG. There you go. That's my life. My whole life is just one sports reference degree of separation from Alex Gibbs. That's what it is. Joe Gibbs. That's right, Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs, by the way, former Arkansas Razorback coach, not head coach. He was a positions coach under Lou Holtz. By the way, if you go back to those coaching staffs of Lou Holtz and Frank Broyles, basically the entire country owes their success in football to Arkansas, who has never had really any success in football. I have to brag about the fact that Bobby Petrino got us to an 11-win season where they beat Kansas State in the Cotton Bowl. That's what I have to brag about because I have nothing else to brag about. I have to brag about how Darren McFadden finished second in the Heisman twice instead of bragging about the things that, Texas gets to brag about because they're Texas. Gibby from iCarly. I don't know who Gibby is. Marcus, are you that comfortable going into the season with Rush and White? No, I'm not. I'm not that comfortable at all. Daniel, sports references and movie lines is how I convey myself. LOL. Thomas, who would be able in the second round for DT? Who would be available? Is that what you're saying? All right, guys. So March Madness is happening right now. I haven't seen an update. I don't have a TV in the studio here. I should invest in that. I should invest in a TV down here so that I can watch games. Okay, all right. So I don't know. Who's winning right now? Is Yale losing? That's what everybody wants to know, right? Is Yale losing? Let's see. Thomas says yes. Nathaniel, Sue, get him here. Sue is available. He's probably not cheap, but he is available. Chris says, oh, you long for the days of Houston Nutt. Jesus. Fuck. Oh, God. Houston Nutt. That guy. Here's what's amazing is that after Houston Nutt, Bobby Petrino made everybody forget about Houston Nutt and their problems with Houston Nutt entirely. Then John L. Smith and Brett Bielema made people realize how actually good of a coach Houston Nutt was, which is just the worst. That's not the place you want to be. That's not where you want to be. Go Knowles. Oh, you're Nathaniel. Are you a Knowles fan? Sean, Sue is a lazy pile of crap. Boy, he wasn't when he was in college. I'll say that. And he wasn't when he was in Detroit either. And he wasn't when he was in Miami. I think last year was a weird season because of the system and because of who he was playing with, Aaron Donald. If you want to make Ndamukong Suh look like an average player, put him next to Aaron Donald, and he'll look like an average player. And that's exactly what happened in Los Angeles, is by comparison to Aaron Donald, who is arguably the best player in the league, which, people want to argue with you about, but because they're like, no, it's a quarterback, it's Patrick Mahomes. Hey, you know who Patrick Mahomes couldn't beat? Aaron Donald and the Rams. You know who Patrick Mahomes gave up 20 points or 21 points against? The Rams. Because Aaron Donald and that defense, Aaron Donald causes so many problems in the middle. It makes everybody else better around him. He makes, by himself, he makes the pass rush so difficult to handle just by himself. He makes 5 other people on the field less effective. That's an incredible thing to say. And so, yeah, I think Aaron Donald's the most interior pass rush pressure. You want to screw over an elite level quarterback? Interior pass rush pressure. Have that, and you'll beat that team. Unless that elite quarterback is Tom Brady, and then you won't. Joe Tranchina says Yale 68, LSU 74. Look, I know Yale produced a lot of presidents, but LSU graduated Shaq and the guy who founded Raising Cane's. So I'm going to say, who do you think actually did more for society? I'm going to go with LSU. Chris says, Sue's game versus Texas in the Big 12 championship game is the greatest defensive performance I've ever seen. I can't disagree with that. Although I will say, there are people who have done that at the pro level. I think Michael Strahan had 6 sacks in a game once by himself. Who else? I think Reggie White had a game like that too. Reggie White did that. Derek Thomas. Derek Thomas was incredible, obviously. So many players. I don't know, man. Like, Ndamukong Suh was incredible, and the way that he influenced that game was remarkable, but they did lose that game. Chris says LSU produced Jamarcus Russell. All right, well, I stand corrected. I think they undid all of the goodwill that they garnered from producing Raising Cane's and Shaq with the Jamarcus Russell issue. Although I don't think Jamarcus Russell graduated. Sean says, we have an Ivy League grad who was a mediocre head coach. He went to Yale, didn't he? Was it Yale? I'm pretty sure that Jason Garrett went to Yale. Do you think Jason Garrett earned his way into Yale? Or do you think somebody was just paying for him to be in Yale? Chris, Sue should have won the Heisman. Agreed there. Wade, you can't hold it against Donald that the Patriots won. The Patriots are men among boys, and as a Pats fan, I still tip my hat to Donald. Yeah, as you should. Princeton, that's right, he went to Princeton. He went to Princeton with Dean Cain. Dean Cain went to Princeton? I did not know that. Wow. Here you go. Here's great. So Jason Garrett went to Princeton with Dean Cain, who was in a movie with Les Miles, who coached LSU, who's playing Yale. There you go. Mic drop. How about that? Try to make a better roundabout circle of references between LSU and Yale than that. Neil says Jason Garrett got his PhD in clapping from Yale. Chris, Dean Cain is still the interception leader at Princeton. Is that really true? Dean Cain played football at Princeton and leads them in interceptions all time. That's amazing. Joe, final score, LSU 79, Yale 74. That's good. Good. I'm glad that LSU won that one. Nathaniel, the worst Superman ever. That's good. He was the worst Superman ever. But oddly enough, I think Terry Hatcher, best Lois ever. So what do you do with that information? Wade, Yale, Kevin Bacon has heard of them. That's funny. Warren, that Clowney play that won them the game was good. Warren, that is such a vague reference. Are you talking about that Michigan, South Carolina bowl game? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about the Jadeveon Clowney doing something with the Texans? I don't know. Sean, wow, TJ just went 5 separations of Kevin Bacon's Sports Edition on us. That's right. Brandon Routh was a worse Superman. I don't even know who that is. Who's Brandon Routh? Was he in the movie? Was he in the first movie, Superman movie, to come back? Or was that, what's his face, the English guy? Remember they made a Superman movie that was terrible? And then they were like, we can't do this. We can't. They just killed the franchise after one movie. Those are the 2 movies that I don't understand why they can't get the storytelling right. Was the 2 superhero franchises where they just they're always rebooting and they're always trying to get it right. They can never get it right. It's not like Batman where they almost always get it right. Like they got it right with Michael Keaton, and then those superhero franchises were really good. They had a couple of misses with Clooney, but Kilmer wasn't a terrible Batman. That was just a bad movie. It wasn't really his fault. It was really more the Joel Schumacher wanted to show us the ass crack of the Batman suit and give Robin nipples. That was my problem with those movies. But it wasn't the acting. It wasn't that they were bad. No, it's Spider-Man. They can never seem to get right. They're always rebooting Spider-Man. And no one since Christopher Reeves have they gotten Superman right. And that was really more about Gene Hackman than I think it was about Christopher Reeves. But they just can't get Superman right. They can't get Superman right, and they can't get Spider-Man right. Jaden Smith is the best Batman ever. Fight me. Wade says, Clowney de-helmeted that Michigan dude. Best collegiate play in a long time. I would say that was the best tackle in the backfield since LeVar Arrington. Remember that LeVar Arrington play? Jumped over the line, tackled him just like in a heartbeat. That was very LeVar Arrington at Penn State-esque. Daniel, it was that shitty Superman movie. Yep. That's the thing, Daniel, is that you have to be more descriptive with your shitty Superman movies because there's so many. Jaden Smith versus Ralph Macchio. Who wins? I'm going to say Macchio. I'm going to go, is it Macchio or Macchio? Ralph Macchio? Macchio. You know, Ralph Macchio is actually in The Deuce. He's pretty good in The Deuce. He got shot at the end of last season, but he was still pretty good. He's pretty good in The Deuce. The Deuce, by the way, great show. Scorsese, the last episode, the season finale of the last season of Deuce, was one of the best episodes of TV I've seen in a long time. It was really, well, it was the best episode of a TV series I've seen since the courtroom scene with Chuck in Better Call Saul. That scene is like, the fact that he didn't win an award for that, the guy who plays Chuck in Better Call Saul, God, it's just totally overlooked. It was that whole show, Better Call Saul, best show on TV. Macchio, is it Macchio, Wade? Macchio, like a sh. So I wasn't saying it's not Macchio or Macchio, it's Macchio. Let's see. Adam West was a damn good Batman. I agree with you there, Rick. Chris, Dean Cain held a national record of 12 interceptions a season in 1987, broken in 2002. Wow. At Yale. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I want you guys to enjoy the rest of March Madness. We'll be back at it tomorrow doing the same thing. Ari will be back tomorrow as well. We'll have more discussions on what's going on with the Cowboys situation and free agency. I want to thank everybody for the comments, as always. Love talking to you guys every single day. Of course, Ari's going to be back tomorrow. So if you missed Ari, he'll be back tomorrow, noon o'clock Central. I am on right after him. Although I did appreciate the little bit of viewer bump I got because Ari wasn't on before me. Maybe we should flip. Maybe we should flip time slots. That's what I'm saying. Also, too, for everybody who's still watching, and I understand if you've already jumped off, but if you're a regular, if you're a top fan, I just have to say thank you so much for doing all the stuff that you guys do, especially sharing these videos. You know, a big part of us growing this community of fans that you're a part of is that you guys are the leaders of this community. You guys are the ones who we reach out to and we want to know what you guys want to talk about. We want to know your feedback. If we're fucking something up, tell us that we're fucking something up. If you find us to be a bore for whatever reason, please don't just leave. Please, if we're not talking about what you want to talk about, if you want to hear more about certain things, let us know. Because we want to make content that you like, especially me. It's a big point of contention for me is that I want to make things that you like to share. So please do that. Thank you guys so much. Once again, I will be back tomorrow, same time, right here on Phantom. Later, y'all.